Breach it! Breach it! Get on the ground!
2 investigations from the case files of Lieutenant Joe Kenda. First, a young couple's date night ends in tragedy.
His chest is covered in blood.
He did not deserve to die.
As detectives delve into his past,
Can't sell dope in front of a damn school.
a crucial clue sets off a manhunt.
They look like what they are. Death on a high horse.
Then,
Robert!
a blood-soaked crime scene inside a shopping mall leaves investigators baffled.
Was he hit? Was he struck? Is there a gunshot wound?
It looked like this guy had been murdered by Jack the Ripper. Bad choices lead to tragic results. You have to be held accountable for what you do, and the police are going to collect that accountability from you. There's one thing that never changes: murder. A life has been taken. Their stories are now my stories. I never know where a case is going to lead, but I'll never stop until it's solved. Somebody has to look out for the victim. If you kill, I will find you.
It's just after 2 a.m., and 29-year-old Deanne Parker is exhausted after working the late shift.
She's just about to fall asleep when she's jolted awake by the sounds of arguing just outside her bedroom window.
But then she heard some gunshots. She gets out of bed and she looks out her window and she sees a woman screaming for help.
Listen, somebody might be in trouble. There's a girl yelling down the street screaming, "Get here, quick, hurry, please."
I was coming home around 2 o'clock in the morning, and I parked the car, and I walked up to the front door of the house.
4-1, dispatch to 4-1.
And I was about to stick my key in the lock.
Go 4-1.
We have reports of a shooting on Institute.
It doesn't matter what time it is. Crime doesn't have a clock or a wristwatch.
10-4, by the way.
Emotion drives it, not the time of day or night.
25 minutes later, Kenda pulls up to a cordoned-off street in the center of the city.
Morning, Wilson. Friends. What? Especially there's been a shooting. What do we got?
We've got a 25-year-old black male victim. We've identified him as Julius Nelson. We've got a couple of witnesses say he goes by a street name of Ricky.
Okay, has the body been transported?
No, not yet. We're still waiting on the coroner. He's still in the car.
You said there's eyewitnesses?
There are. We've got one male that's an acquaintance or friend of the victim, and a female, Kathy Needler. She's the victim's girlfriend.
We're advised that the girlfriend was very distraught, so they escorted her from the scene to the police station to be interviewed later.
Okay, hold on to them now, witnessing, so we take a look at the body.
Yes, sir.
So I look over in the seat to his right. Is Ricky Nelson. His chest is covered in blood.
Did you see the tire iron? Yep.
Your first conclusion when look at this, there are 4 tires inflated on this car. He has no reason to have this tire iron in or near him. It may mean nothing at all, but it's interesting that it's there.
Got a bunch of casings over here.
There's 8 shell casings found at the scene. The shell casings are small caliber .22. Also, we noticed that the victim's vehicle has some damage, to include 7 bullet holes.
happens in the case of an unqualified shooter, somebody that really doesn't know how to use the gun, just pulls the trigger until it stops going bang, and points this in the direction of the victim.
Okay, witness?
Yes, sir.
So we've looked at this crime scene, and now the patrol officers have a witness present in the back of a patrol car, whose name is Walter Walker.
Step out of the vehicle, please. Have a seat. So you're friends with Mr. Nelson?
Yeah. Man, Ricky, we go way back.
He goes by the street name of Scappy. He tells us that they've known each other since they were children, and it's clear to us that he's very upset over the loss of Ricky.
So what went on here tonight?
I don't know. We was driving around, and I got out the car to pee, and these two dudes showed up.
He says two males approach him, and they talk. He doesn't say about what, and they're in some blue car, and all of a sudden it goes way south, and everything goes down.
I don't know. It just got out of control real fast. Those ones were crazy.
He gives us a physical description, which is relatively vague.
Here's the thing, Mr. Walker. You want us to find who killed your friend? We're gonna need some more information.
I told you it was a blue car, right?
Listen, we know you're not telling us everything. I got a pretty good idea why.
This particular murder occurred in front of a house that has a history with the police department. It's known to be a crack house.
All right, you're free to go. But I want you to think about everything that happened here tonight. And if you can remember any names or details, give me a call.
Yes, sir. You got it.
Scappy is not chargeable with an offense. It's not against the law to drive around at 2 o'clock in the morning. He is a witness. Nothing more, nothing less.
Think he'll drop you a line once he gets his head straight? That's unlikely. Why don't we pay a visit to the house next door? Crack house? Hard to get a warrant this time of night. Now, we don't need a warrant to knock on the door and ask a few questions. True. Worth a shot.
We don't know exactly why those shots were fired, so all options are on the table.
Good. Rhymes. What's cracking, fellas?
How's life, Smitty?
What y'all doing out here? I ain't done nothing wrong.
We recognize the individual. We recognize him from prior drug raids, and that can be to our advantage. If they know we're not after them, they'll share information.
We're investigating a shooting. You know anything about that?
I heard some gunshots.
That's it? Come on, Smitty. It's getting late. We don't have time to play games.
He kind of shrugs his shoulders. Well, I heard somebody was honking their horn really incessantly. Then there was a disturbance, a bunch of yelling.
Damn well they was up to.
And what was that?
They was selling dope. Yeah. I heard them get off my street and go sell somewhere else. I told them people here, only be buying from me.
The response back, according to Smitty, was these individuals told him to, quote, F off, or they're going to mess him up.
I ain't trying to get to it with them, though, so I went back in the house.
Nobody wants to talk to the police, and the way to avoid that is not see anything and not get involved.
Did you get a look at anybody inside the car?
Nah.
Did you get a license plate?
Sorry, detectives. I ain't got nothing for you.
All right, Smitty. When you feel like talking, you know where to find us.
Whatever.
So, despite our efforts at this point, we still don't know what happened. But Ricky has a family that lives in the same neighborhood. We have to inform them anyway of the loss of Ricky, and it's an opportunity to see what they may know.
We're very sorry for your loss.
I was always afraid something like this would happen.
Ricky's father knows where Ricky's been most of his life. Ricky runs with some bad people, he said.
He did some time a few months back for robbery. But lately he said he was trying to stay on the right side of the law.
Did he have a drug problem?
I don't know. And I don't want to know.
That's a common attitude in some parents. Stick your head in the sand and it all goes away.
Can you think of anyone that might have wanted to harm him?
All I can think of was some LA boys.
L.A.? As in Los Angeles?
Yeah. Them LA gangbangers has been hanging around town lately.
This was the time when we were seeing a lot of gangbangers from outside of the area coming into Colorado Springs.
Ricky had several run-ins with them people. About a month ago, not long after he got out of prison. There was a couple of them parked up by the elementary school down the street.
What's up, brother? Yeah, I got something what you need.
He explains that Ricky sees there's this dark blue car, and Ricky gets upset. It's not right to be selling drugs around these kids.
Hey, yo, y'all need to move on up out of here.
What you say, fool?
You heard me, man. You can't sell dope in front of a damn school.
And so Ricky went up and confronted these guys. They didn't take that very well.
He got out of the car and jumped. Beat him up pretty bad.
What we now know is the blue car seems to be legitimately involved in this.
You need to talk to his girlfriend, Kathy, about it.
She was there when he got shot. Does she know the LA boys in the blue car?
Thank you. We'll let ourselves out.
Does she know somebody's name? It's time to find out. We're trying to determine who gunned down Ricky Nelson. We've had information about run-ins with a couple guys in a blue car. Now we're hopeful that his girlfriend can shed some real light on this.
Go and have a seat.
Thank you.
Ricky's girlfriend was at the scene at the time of the shooting. She's had time to calm down. We interview her at the police station.
I know how hard this must be for you.
It still feels like a bad dream.
We had a connection on every level, and I knew that he was the guy for me for the rest of my life.
It all started when we saw Scappy on the side of the road.
Ricky and I just got back driving.
Hey, yo, Scappy. What's good, man? Ricky? Hey, man, can you give me a ride? Yeah, sure, hop in.
So Scappy got in the backseat, and Ricky drove over to this one particular house.
Man, you looking to cop some crack?
Look, I'll be quick. I appreciate this, man.
Just hurry up.
Yeah.
It'll be all right, okay?
He convinces Ricky to take him to Smitty's house where he's going to buy or try to buy a $20 rock of crack cocaine.
Oh, shit.
What?
It's those fools from LA again.
And so what does Scappy do? He walks up to this car and starts talking to these guys.
Come on, Scappy.
Kathy explains to us that she doesn't really have a clear view of what's going on. She then hears a disturbance.
Damn it. I'll be right back.
No, Ricky, no, baby. Come on, please. Stay out of it.
Ricky got out of the car to go break up a fight.
I couldn't quite tell what was being said, but I could detect the animosity and the anger. Next thing I know, I heard gunshots.
Ricky, oh my God. Oh my God, are you shot? Are you shot?
Ricky came and got back in the car, and he leaned over. He held my hand, and he said, "Just hold me."
Please. Please don't look at me. My boyfriend is shot.
Ricky did not deserve to die.
Can you tell us anything about the guys in the blue car?
Have you guys talked to Scappy yet? I mean, I think he knew them. He said their names were Wade and Albert.
No. Scappy didn't mention any names. All right, again, thank you for talking to us. We're very sorry about your boyfriend.
Thank you.
So now we have a huge step forward. Now we know it's Wade and Albert in a blue car.
Albert? I wonder if that's Albert Meadows.
He got arrested near Smitty's house 2 months ago in another shooting.
Let me pull his file. I'll be right back.
He pulls a photograph of Albert Meadows.
Here's the guy Albert was with. His name's Wade Douglas.
So Albert and Wade are now Albert Meadows and Wade Douglas. Now we're hitting on all 8 cylinders.
Our next step in this investigation is to interview Scappy. We know that Scappy is not very forthcoming with what he did know.
You mind giving us the whole story this time?
Yeah, of course. You know me.
She says Ricky gave him a ride. He wanted to go somewhere, I wouldn't say where that was.
So we pulled up to a house, and down the street, we see a blue car that belonged to these 2 boys Ricky has beef with. So I went over to talk to him to see if I can get it sorted out. But then one of the boys take a swing at me.
He says he was drunk. He can't really defend himself that well, but Ricky got a tire iron out of the trunk and ran over to break up the fight.
Next thing I know, one of them starts firing shots, and Ricky got hit.
Do you think you could identify the 2 guys in the blue car?
I don't know, maybe.
Recognize anybody from the blue car?
We show Scappy these 2 photo lineups.
Yeah, the boy right there?
I got in a fight with.
But he ain't the dude that shot Ricky. It was the other one.
Okay.
We show him the second lineup. He spends a great deal of time looking at the photograph of Wade Douglas.
Nah, I don't recognize nobody.
Okay, so what's he doing? He's giving us enough to complicate things, not enough to be specific, not enough to be truly useful.
Okay, Mr. Walker. Fair enough. You're free to go. Be safe. We don't want those guys finding you.
What you mean?
They say, we have no reason to arrest anybody yet. You won't provide us with one. So they're out there probably waiting for you to walk out of this building. So you have a nice evening, Scappy.
Wait, let me see those photos again.
He decides that maybe I'm right. This time he takes the second photo lineup back from us, points at Wade Douglas.
The guy right there, he's the one who shot Ricky.
Okay. Thanks for your help.
The next step in our investigation now is to find Albert and Wade. The records list an address for each individual. When we go, we find out that they're no longer there.
So where are they now? Well, who knows where they are.
But it doesn't take long for detectives to catch a break.
The officers that work that particular area, they are aware of active warrants for murder for these guys, and they also are aware that these guys frequent that area.
Have a blue Cadillac approaching the target house, California tag.
They're aware of a blue car being involved.
Driver's getting out, black male, braids, dark shirt, walking towards target house.
And he's able to see an individual that matches Albert's description entering Smitty's crack house.
Albert has surfaced. We have a chance to arrest him, so we call tactical enforcement unit. We can kick in the front door if we have to. But we're going to get in that house. We have progressed in this investigation from 2 unknown guys in a blue car to Albert Meadows and Wade Douglas as being the people responsible for the death of Ricky Nelson. We believe we know the location of Albert Meadows, who is thought to be in the known crack house in the neighborhood where Ricky was killed.
The tactical enforcement team, our SWAT team, will execute the search warrant.
Let's get him.
They can gain entry and gain control in a house in less than 10 seconds. They look like what they are. Death on a high horse.
Colorado Springs Police Department, open up!
They roll up there, nobody opens the door, they take the door off the hinges.
Breach it, breach it! Get on the ground, get on the ground, get on the ground! Get down, get down, get down, get down!
It's your hands! It's your hands!
Smitty's crack house. Looks like a war zone.
Get on the ground! Now! Get on the ground! Take it easy, man! Oh, you down now! Stay where you are.
There's always narcotics in plain view in crack houses. There's no time to flush everything down a toilet.
Hands up your head, stay put.
So the people present in that building, including Albert Meadows, get arrested.
Stand up.
Meadows for murder,
Get right in.
the other three for possession with intent to dispense controlled substance.
Detective Kinsey. Hey, this guy, he claims to know where the suspect is. All right, thank you.
We get word from these people in this crack house because they are more than willing to tell us anything to avoid going to jail. That they know that outside of St. Louis, Missouri,
We share with the St. Louis Police Department that we have an active arrest warrant for an individual and ask them to check his parents' residence.
they go out and arrest Wade Douglas and place him in custody in their jail. He waived extradition and he agreed to be extradited back to Colorado.
Later that week, detectives sit Wade Douglas down for some answers.
I'm telling you, it was all self-defense. Those guys were going to kill me.
Okay, Wade. We want to hear your side of the story. Why don't you tell us what happened?
All right. So we was parked up there by that crack house. I know that fool. What's his name?
Scrappy.
No, Scrappy or whatever.
Yeah, Scrappy, right? Hey, yo, what's up?
Wade Douglas says he and his friend Albert Meadows were parked on the street when a person he knows as Scrappy knocked on their window and wanted to buy crack cocaine.
You guys got in there robbed. Get in.
He gets in the back seat and he tries to negotiate a price. He wants a discount for the crack cocaine he wants to buy.
Come on, you know me. We cool. How about you give me a friends and family discount?
Hey, tripping.
Hey, bro. Pay up and get out.
It's getting a little heated because you keep telling him we're not going to discount anything. You got to pay the price.
Who the hell you with, man? Hey, you know him. It's my boy. Come on. Give it to me for a 20 spot. We're sitting there arguing. And then this guy Smitty comes out. And he's hollering at us.
Hey, I gotta set up shop somewhere else. You can't be parking out here.
Get out of here, old man.
Come on, get the hell out of here, bitch.
Go off, Grandpa, before you really regret coming out here. We tell him to leave us alone. But then Scrappy, we can do something stupid. You know what? If you guys ain't gonna sell it to me, I'll just go and buy it from that old man.
Wade says that Albert Meadows got out of the car
None of those sell dope in this neighborhood. Only we sell dope in this neighborhood.
Come on, man.
and he punches Scrappy in the mouth, and a fight gets underway.
Hey, so what I tell you, fool, you much.
I'll be right back.
Ricky, no, come on, stay out of it, baby.
Ricky's pissed. He's been assaulted by these guys twice now, and maybe it's time for some payback. So he goes to the trunk of his car, gets a tire iron, and goes to break up the fight.
Ricky is now armed with a deadly weapon. As he approaches this group, no one's fighting with Ricky. They're fighting with Scrappy, and Ricky escalates it by introducing a weapon.
You want some too?
Once the fight broke up, Ricky then walked towards Wade, saying, "Now it's your turn."
Wade Douglas then said he got out of the car and emptied the gun at Ricky.
I get up, bro. Come on, get up.
Ricky, oh my god! Oh my god, are you shot?
Just over.
Ricky then returned back to his car, touches his chest, sees the blood, and he dies.
me in my eyes and he said, always remember 2 things. First, to always take care of yourself. And the second is that I love you very much. Ricky's hand went like this and it was gone.
I had to protect myself. I swear I didn't have any choice, man.
Wade Douglas admits that he shot Ricky Nelson, and he said he did so because Mr. Nelson was armed with a tire iron and was advancing toward him aggressively, and he shot him as a result.
No, that's not up to us. That's up to the prosecutors. Go ahead and cuff them.
Come on, man. What are you talking about?
Stand up.
This isn't right. This isn't right, man.
All right.
Wade was initially charged with second-degree murder. During the trial, he was subsequently acquitted by the jury, who felt that he clearly had the right to protect himself and that Ricky was a threat with a tire iron. Albert, even though initially involved in the fight, he was not involved directly in the shooting. He was not charged with any wrongdoing.
He really was the love of my life. I'd be happily married now if he wasn't gone. Every day, I live with the memory of what was and the reality of what will never be.
Ricky Nelson was certainly not a priest. Did he deserve to die? No one should be killed because of poor choices they make.
Coming up, a blood-soaked crime scene leads to more questions than answers.
This, by no means, is a typical homicide case.
Hey man, what are you doing?
And it took some effort to discover the truth.
It's a typical Saturday morning. 16-year-old Jessica Barnes is on her way to work at the Chapel Hills Mall.
Hey, good morning, Ed.
Nice to see you, Jessica.
You too.
And when she gets to the shoe store that she works in,
Hey, Robert. Are you in there?
the chainmail is still down in front of it. She's expecting that the store manager is there.
Robert! That's weird.
So she's wondering, why hasn't he opened the door up yet?
Robert, I'm here.
So she takes her store keys and goes around to the back of the store to unlock the door. When Jessica goes inside,
Robert, where are you?
she sees her manager's bag sitting there and she thinks, well, maybe he is here. He just hasn't turned the lights on yet.
Robert? Robert!
As she's calling out for her manager, she all of a sudden slips on something on the floor.
Ew.
It is her manager lying face down on the floor, and he's the one who's bleeding.
A short time later, Kenda and his team arrive on the scene.
When I first arrived, there were several uniformed officers, a mall security guy, and a young detective named Tanner.
Gentlemen?
Hey, Joe. It's a rough one. I think I've never seen so much blood.
Really? Yeah. So what we got?
Single victim, deceased, 34-year-old, 16-year-old kid who works for him found his body.
It is his custom to open the store for business every morning at 10. So the question now is, what has interrupted him from this routine?
Is man or death?
Still unclear. No weapons or casings nearby. A coroner's on the way, though, so hopefully we'll know soon. You want to have a look inside in the meantime?
Yeah, let's see what we're dealing with. weren't kidding about the blood.
It's just incredible. It looked like this guy had been murdered by Jack the Ripper.
Glad I didn't wear my new shoes today.
I ruined a pair of shoes in the course of being in this place. There's no other way to get close to him but to step in blood.
It looks like the slope of the floor caused the blood to pool that way.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Malls are built with a slight downward cant to the floor. The reason is, if their sprinkler system goes off, the building won't flood. This guy is downhill ever so slightly, and gravity allowed the contents of his body to empty onto this floor.
Looks like he's been dead for a while.
By the look of the blood, I'd say a good 8 to 12 hours, probably.
If blood is fresh in color, it is a crimson red. Over time, it turns black, and we have almost reached black. So we're wondering what happened to him.
This would be odd happening at Chapel Hills Mall. People would be shocked and surprised.
Well, they've got cameras.
All right, let's get someone to pull the tapes.
I'm on it.
Cameras at that time in the 90s, they used videotape. Because everybody's concerned about the dollar when it comes to business, they use, reuse, and abuse tapes. The fact that it's there doesn't mean it's going to be useful.
It's hard to tell with all the blood, but I didn't see any wounds on him.
Yeah, I don't either. Let's wait till the coroner gets here. We can roll him over, take a closer look.
The blood can actually cover up all sorts of other injuries. So I would be concerned that there's a gunshot wound, that there's a stab wound, potentially in the neck or upper chest.
But before the coroner arrives, Kenda catches sight of a notable clue.
When a body dies standing erect, your feet will cross over each other. It's called a dead man's fall. He was dead standing up and fell literally dead to the floor.
Any idea if anything's missing? Cash, merchandise?
First thing I did when I got here was check the register. It's filled with cash.
So the likely explanation is it's not a robbery.
And there you go, sir. Thank you. You have a great rest of your day.
But what if our man has an enemy who gets in the shoe store, and when the manager's distracted, he walks around the car and goes in the back? What if he's lying in wait in the darkness in this office when the manager turned out the lights?
Hey, man, what are you doing?
The enemy takes his revenge. Now that works better for me than robbery.
Is the kid that found him still here?
Yeah, patrol's holding him.
Good. Let's talk to her, see if she can shed any light on any of this.
The first step in any homicide investigation is who is the victim? What do they do? Where do they go? The victimology is critical.
Jessica, I know what a terrible shock this is and how hard it must be for you. But do you think you could answer a few questions for us?
I don't know,
Jessica Barnes, sixth funeral, and now she sees this level of violence. It's very, very distressing to her.
what do you guys want to know?
What can you tell us about Robert? Was he a good boss?
Yeah, I mean, I only work here once a week, but I can't imagine why anyone would want to do this. Robert was a sweetheart.
She describes Robert as kind of this teddy bear guy. He's a big guy, over 6 feet tall, over 200 pounds, but he's very gentle.
You ever see him argue with a customer or maybe another employee?
No, I mean, he just kept to himself.
She said he's very dedicated, but sometimes he'll just go in the back for a while. But it's not my place to question him. He's the manager.
Detective Kenda, sorry to interrupt, but Jessica's mother's here.
Okay, I think we got enough for now. Thanks for your help, Jessica.
Okay.
I'll walk her out and let her mom know what's going on.
One other thing, we checked the security cameras. They're not working. They're not even hooked up.
Figures.
The cameras, they're there for show. You find that in a lot of places where they don't want to invest in something that might solve a crime.
On the plus side, the coroner's here.
All right, thank you.
We now have an opportunity to view the front of this body to find out what it is that killed this guy. We're going to see wounds. We're going to see something that produced this blood.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, Lieutenant. Just judging from the blood color and the temperature in this room, I think he's been dead up to 12 hours.
What about the cause of death?
I don't see anything yet. Still need to roll him, though. He's kind of a big fella. You mind giving me a hand?
My thought was the shoes are already ruined, so why not? There is a meaning to dead weight, so it's very hard to turn him, but we do it.
1, 2, 3.
When we turn him, his face is crushed, and it is a brilliant shade of royal purple. He's not a handsome person at this moment. There's a couple of young officers, and there's an intake of breath when they see his face, because they probably hadn't seen that before.
Wow.
The face is obviously a source of blood. There's got to be more to this than just the face. I'm kind of looking around.
Well, that explains a few things.
And I see something I didn't expect to see. We're investigating the death of 34-year-old Robert Kelly, the manager of a shoe store in the Chapel Hills Mall. We have turned him over, and we are getting into the probable cause of death that had been a mystery.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
When we roll him over, what I see lodged in his arm is a hypodermic needle in a vein, and it's plunged, meaning that it's been used. Whatever liquid was contained within it is now inside this body.
He's got track marks all over him.
There's needle tracks on his arm. He's a user. Nobody killed him. He killed him.
Go find Detective Tanner and search the premises for any signs of drug paraphernalia.
Yes, sir.
You see any other wounds besides his face?
Well, I need to get him back to the morgue and do an exam, but I don't see anything. I think he was standing, overdosed, fell over.
It's not that uncommon for us to see injuries from what we call a terminal collapse. They fall and can have skull fractures, which can cause bleeding.
This is a 250-pound man falling at 32 feet per second. When you strike a floor like that, with that kind of weight behind you, your face is going to shatter like an egg, and his did.
Hey, Joe, we got something in the back office.
Once investigators start looking around, they find a charred spoon, a lighter, some white powder.
Seems pretty clear it's cocaine he was injecting.
He disappears for a while in the back. Then he comes out again.
I think Robert probably had a very serious addiction given the fact that he's using it at work.
I wonder if his family knows he had this kind of addiction.
Well, we'll find out. One of our guys tracked down his mother's address. She doesn't know about his drug habit. She's about to.
We go to see his mother. We have to tell her that Robert's not coming home anymore. She has a horrible reaction. Your children are supposed to bury you,
Please tell me you're joking.
not the other way around.
I'm very sorry.
My baby. Baby's gone.
There's a hole in your heart that will never heal, no matter what the reason.
I never saw him taking drugs of any kind.
It's very common in users. They conceal their use from their family. Their greatest fear is to be discovered.
Did you notice any change in him?
Well, he used to always talk about starting his own business, but he had a bad breakup with a long-term girlfriend a few years ago.
She explains, when the girlfriend left him, he became depressed and his ambitions seemed to go away.
If I'd known he was taking drugs, I would have done something. I would have gotten him some help.
Robert's mother, poor thing. I mean, you'd feel kind of guilty in a way. It's like, why as a mother didn't I see that in my son? So it'd make that death just even more difficult to handle.
A few days later, the coroner confirms the cause of death.
He had a massive amount of cocaine in his system, which led to cardiac arrhythmia. So essentially, he had a major heart attack.
Thanks, Doc. I appreciate it.
Be safe.
The heart locks up like a closed fist. It is in full-blown spasm. It's not working, and thus neither are you. We can conclude that the likely scenario is that Robert Kelly is conducting business as usual. When the business closes, he drops the chainmail gate over the front of the store, goes into the office, organizes his paperwork, and conducts his nightly routine of using narcotics.
The fact that he had been using drugs so much that it probably never even crossed his mind that something so severe could happen to him.
He can stand there for a minute, and then it slides out, and he hits that floor like a ton of bricks.
It's possible that the heart is still pumping, but just in an inefficient manner, which could contribute to the volume of blood that was at the scene.
He laid there for 8 to 12 hours, and his body emptied itself onto that floor.
I feel sorry for Robert. He probably had dreams in his life, and to have to turn to drugs in that extreme to kind of get through each day, it's just a very sad situation.
He thought those drugs would solve his problems. Drugs only provide you with another problem, and it becomes fatal at some point. Unintentional, but death nonetheless.